Good day, my friends. Good morning. Happy Saturday to you. Today, we're going to be talking about, with our main goal being America dodged the Kamala bullet. What if she had won? What would have happened? I know it's difficult for some people to realize this. I know it's difficult for people to be in the position of actually thinking this, but we're going to now have to shift away from reacting to winning. Saying, now, what are we going to do to govern? The president, of course, is doing his best. He's doing his his job. We're going to have to change the way we think. We're going to have to change the way we evaluate things. Remember, we won. So we switch now into victor mode versus combatant or contestant. That's a very important thing to understand. We won. We act like winners. We govern, and the revolution has begun. Let me say this again to you. Listen to me. I'm not exaggerating. We have to break old habits. And the first thing is to say, you won. You have won. So therefore, it is incumbent upon you to act accordingly. And one thing we're going to do, as I've told you, is specifically do not respond to what CNN, ABC, NBC, MSDNC, we don't do that anymore. There are these wonderful shows I like this called Lefties Losing It. It's our great friends from Sky, and it's wonderful. Rita does this wonderful, but that's okay for a little amuse-bouche, a little palate cleanser, a little tidbit. That's not what we are all about. We are after fighting and winning and changing the course of this country's direction. And one of the things to do is to recognize the fact that we can't be sidelined. We can't be distracted. We have to focus accordingly on what has to be done. I'm going to say this again. We have to focus accordingly on what has to be done. And I can't say this enough. I can't put it into any clearer form of discussion other than this. So sit tight, my friends. Let me first remind you to make sure that you are subscribed herein. You must be a subscriber. 87%. I read this. I couldn't believe this. 87% of the videos of what you watch, you are not subscribed to. I don't care about others. I care about us, because the more people who are subscribed to us, our numbers go up and our focus and our message goes up accordingly. So please make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are paying attention. But first, my friend, this critical message from our sponsor. If you're suffering from daily aches and pains, please listen closely. Top medical experts have unveiled a natural pain reliever that is changing the way Americans fight pain. 100% drug-free canolidine. Canolidine is the only solution that optimizes your body's natural painkillers called endorphins, providing full body relief without dangerous pills or known side effects. Over 1 million Americans and hundreds of professional athletes, including UFC fighters, have already embraced canolidine's pain relief power. And best of all, canolidine is legal worldwide, certified drug-free, and does not cause side effects, grogginess, or addiction. After 14 years of clinical research, it has been proven safe and effective, backed by thousands of successful use cases from other Americans just like you. And best of all, today you can try canolidine for less than $1 per day. This is your opportunity to finally live pain-free. Click the link below to try the only canolidine product in the world risk-free for a full 90 days. The private link and special discount expire at midnight tonight. Experience daily pain relief with canolidine. You have nothing to lose but your pain. Now, my friends, one of the things, remember, that we do is simply this. We're going to have to become sophisticated in our view of things. What am I talking about? What am I trying to say? Well, let me explain this to you. Number one, You have to decide and ask yourself, at what level of participation do I want to be in as an American citizen? Do I want to go for just the easy stuff? It is up to you. Do you want to go for the low hanging fruit? Up to you. It's a free country, whatever makes you happy. Do you want to just say, yay, Trump? Good for you. Whatever makes you happy. I don't want to do that. I'm going to say something to you that people hate to hear. The president now has to win for us. Remember something. I am not a fan. I am not a fan. I am not somebody who is here, yay. As crazy as this stands, I don't care. I mean, it might be nice, but I don't want to necessarily go to Mar-a-Lago to take a selfie with Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know what that is. I don't have fan clubs. These aren't movie stars to me. President Trump is going to deliver our country back. He is not a movie star. He is what Eisenhower was. Not a movie star, a patriot, a hero. It's a different story. They looked at Eisenhower, Marshall, Patton. They looked at people like MacArthur to an extent and others as heroes, military heroes. It was a reverence. It wasn't. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. Remember, he won. He won. Please, my friend, revel in this. Understand what he did. He won like you cannot believe. But now we're going to say, now let's do the right thing. Now, first, I told you, a pledge. And I am doing this, and I want you to do this. And it means more, especially if you are online. Do not post, repost, retweet, X, re-X, comment on, in any way give any heft to an enemy site. Does that make any sense? Do not do this. I can't say this enough. Okay. If you do talk about something, let's talk about maybe what some people are saying versus this. There is a quintet of harridans, meretrices, the worst shrews, curs, harpies. It is a television show that somehow is only put on TV to have these vile, rancid, horrible witches spew vile, this bilious, and they are horrid. So consequently, we don't mention their show. Their show is irrelevant. Now, if they say something that's interesting, if they say something that might be illustrative, okay, all right, I'll go with that. If they say something that is illustrative, all right, fair enough. I'll listen. Maybe. That's all. You hear what I'm saying? That's all I will do. I am not interested in the least of helping to promote these people, because remember, they are dying on the vine. And every time you do anything that gives them any attention whatsoever, it actually keeps them on the air longer. Because as I told you, this is important. Today, like in the case of Howard Stern may have been wonderful in the old days. Howard Stern may have been critical during his days on radio, terrestrial radio. It does not matter now. So consequently, when he was on with Guatemala, the reason why he got attention was not because of his show, but because people had, talked about it and referenced it. Okay, fine. Let me explain to you what happened. This is why this story is important. Staten Island is one of the 5 boroughs. Borough. It's weird. Borough. There's slight little pronunciation differences, but the borough of Staten Island, Richmond County. And a lot of people don't know that Richmond County is separate and distinct, an island unto itself. Staten Island, Manhattan, or as kids say today, Manhattan Island is an island. Literally, right? Queens, Brooklyn, part of Long Island, but they're kind of like this. They're connected, but they're okay. You got that. Staten Island is a wonderful place. It is a repository, a sanctuary of great ethnics, wonderful Italian American. Oh my God, Italian American food and a culture and a conservative ethic, the likes of which you cannot believe. Years ago, they wanted to secede from New York. In fact, when Rudy Giuliani was running, he used this incredible turnout as his or to benefit him as well for that. Okay, make a long story short. There was a wonderful bakery called Holterman's Bakery on Staten Island. Holterman, Holtermann. They have been in business since Rutherford B. Hayes was president. 145 years. Okay? And Staten Island leaders, mothers and fathers, demanding that this certain harridan on a certain show, born Karen Johnson, Caryn, they demanded that this Karen Johnson, who later changed her name, which we will never say, we will never refer to, we will never utter, and we will never ever talk about in terms of anything other than her being just a harridan, a virago, a termagant. These are wonderful words. A shrew. Anywho, Staten Island leaders are demanding that Karen Johnson apologize for falsely claiming, aka defaming, libeling, for falsely claiming that Holterman's Bakery on Staten Island, family run for 145 years, refused to serve her certain treats, sweets, based on her leftist lunacy politics. As the family-run business was inundated with orders. Let me explain. This woman who is on this quintet, who is a moron, a Boeotian, an absolute dimwit, a dullard, a dolt, a vacuous, vapid, void, vacant, nothing, who was there for reasons she might have been talented years ago, but now is there collecting the paycheck, just standing there, basically wearing a mop that she has sewn into her head for some reason. I will never know, but it's a free country. So this woman sparked widespread outrage this week when she alleged on her show, the show that apparently some people watch, that the beloved 145-year-old Staten Island, New York institution of Holterman's Bakery. Remember this, and you're going to go there. We're going to go there. Now, after we're going to go to the Amish country. We're going to go to Holterman's. We're going to go there. After they, quote, declined to make her a batch of Charlotte Russe desserts due to her political beliefs. The story is so far-fetched, it's not even remotely funny. Now, recently, this is according to Vito Fossella, who was the borough president, the beep, as they call it, of Staten Island, said recently someone took to the national airwaves and defamed, frankly, this family business. And he was fuming regarding this. And this Karen Johnson made a big deal regarding this particular sweet or cupcake or what have you. Quote, he says, we're here to stand up for one of the best families and businesses, not just in Staten Island, but in the country. Frankly, he added, the people who defamed the Holterman family should apologize. Oh, I say more than this. for making stuff up to suit their needs. Not everybody wakes up every day and thinks about politics. The bakery insisted they were having mechanical issues with a 60-year-old boiler when this woman, and I guess her staff, initially tried to place the November 13th order so she could celebrate her 69th birthday on the air. And that her political beliefs had nothing to do with it. Now, in the wake of this, the disparaging remarks, the owner, Jill Holterman, said they've been flooded with orders from across the country. I really am overwhelmed, she says. I'm so happy to have the support, just to have people come out and talk and build up my business. The owner said that she's had people calling up from as far as Alabama and Tennessee so they can donate orders of baked goods to nearby schools and first responders in a bid to drum up business. Let me see. Quote, this is what she said. This is what Holterman said. This is what Jill Holterman, namesake, quote, we had one today that's donating $150 worth of donuts. Somebody else called up and donated a sheet cake. It went to a firehouse. The other one was cupcakes. They went to PS 37. A steady stream of customers wrapped around the bakery on Thursday and Friday as people flock to support the business. Vito Pasella said, judging by the line today, I think the one simple message is you don't mess with Staten Island. And you also don't lie. You don't defame. Now, I should tell you, Charlotte Roos has no political leanings, and the place that made these refused to make them from me. Now, this is what this thing, Karen Johnson, said. This is what this thing said, okay? Because she is a person completely devoid of any talent at this stage of her life and was just probably handed this. She is so sloppy, so second laziest person next to another member of the quintet. This is what she said. Now, I should tell you, Charlotte Roos has no political leanings, and the place that made these refused to make them for me. Did she ever get them? Yeah, she said somebody else was easily able to get them. Yeah, somehow they figured out. She eventually got them. Why they would continue going, I have no idea. They said that their ovens had gone down, all kinds of stuff. But folks went and got them anyway, which is why I'm not telling you who made them. They didn't like my politics. Ms. Johnson went into full meltdown. Now, these are the people, as you know, for reasons I shan't understand, who are trying to bootstrap this into that age-old canard, that famous trope where bakeries were refusing to make cakes or whatever it is for gay weddings or gay nuptials or gay whatever it is. You hear me? Ryan, by the way, is furious. Ryan says, had Harris won, the country's leftward trajectory likely would have continued unabated. Woke ideology, intersectional feminism, identity politics, and the overall demonization of Western civilization would have endured and judged as righteous. Absolutely, Ryan. Absolutely, kind sir, and thank you so much for your kindness. Now, this is what you must recommend and understand. Remember a while back, in my humble opinion, as a lawyer, as a constitutional scholar, and as your friend, I am saying that nobody has to make anything for anybody. This is, can you put information on the bakery so we can support them? I will do that right now, sir. I do not believe they have a website. I think you have to call them Holterman's Bakery. If I could, Let me give you their. Yes, yes. Could I please? I will give you their. Let me see something. Yeah, they don't. I don't even think they have a website. They don't have a website. Let me give you their X, excuse me, or their Twitter. I can't hold X. And I'll put it here right now. And they're on Arthur Kill Road. They're on Instagram. Let me just give you this. So I'll put it here for you right now. I really want to go. I swear to God, I want to go, and I want to. Do you know what bakers do? You know the this how hard this is. The profit you. I mean, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, getting up early in the morning. I mean, it's just it's. I don't need to tell you how important bakeries are and how important these are to keeping that the feeling and the flavor and the history of an area. Do you remember when you were a kid? Did you have a favorite bakery when you went to school? What was the name of yours where you would go on Sundays? Or if we went to your grandmother's, or you had Sunday, especially for Italians, pick up your Italian bread. You picked it up fresh. There was no such thing as going to a store. It was so fresh and so great that it was gone the next day. In Tampa, in West Tampa, well, actually, kind of where I was, but we had Cuban bread. Cuban bread is in Tampa, this, Ybor City in West Tampa. This is the staple. La Segunda has it. Fiados on Florida Avenue. You go to these places, and there, or you went to the little place where they have the little number and the smell, and you just, oh my God, there's something about a bakery. There's something about this bakery. Look at this. Everybody remembers this. Look at Walter Chinchilla says, the Devoy Bakery, or Savoy rather, in Brooklyn. Everybody remembers this. These little mom and pop. For them to do this, first of all, their legal department must not be in any way paying attention. Now, they're going to say that, well, what you did, we never mentioned the name. And I have to know specifically, and I'm not going to run it. I'm not going to. You do not have to mention. What's the name of the place with the.
We'll do it tonight, today.
Oh, yes.
This morning and tonight.
Yes. What is the name? What is the name of that place we went to, honey? Remember that? Where the crumb cakes in Hackensack? No, Hackensack. There was this
B&W Bakery.
B&W Bakery that we picked. Somebody said we like a crumb cake, so we went online, and the crumb cake weighed about 50 pounds. It was the most wonderful thing ever. It was just incredible. I want to see something here. Yes. And let me also say a special hello to our friend Sherry right now. I just want to make sure Sherry is listening. Mrs. L and I love you. Sherry, and thanks to your daughter Elizabeth. Thank you. We wish you the best. We want you to get better and feel terrific. And you're part. Sherry has been, by the way, a part of us and our family forever. We want to send out thoughts of love and prayers and energy and good wishes and good health to you, Sherry, and your beautiful daughter Elizabeth. Want to make sure we did this. Yesterday we got all caught up in this lunacy. A warrior like you cannot believe. So you got that, Evan? Did I put that up, Evan, for you? There it is. There is the ex-Holtermans. Friends that supported Kamala are silent now. Indeed, they are. But I want to go back to this, and this is important. We spend a little time on this. We have to make sure not only that we have our convictions, but that we make sure that we support people in our army, in our warrior army, in our group who is hurt, who needs our help and support. Black, white, German, I don't know Holterman. I don't know what their nationality is. German, Jewish, I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. The fact that they were targeted. And do you know what it is like when all of a sudden you start getting these phone calls. You go, what is this? What is this? This woman, Jill, says, I'm paying bills. And also, the longer you have a business, the more responsibility you have to keep the business going because it can't fall under your watch. Oh my God. There was a place in Tampa years ago, Spanish Park restaurant. Oh my God, the greatest bar ever, La Ronda. And when they went, from the Valdez family, when it finally went under, I'm thinking, how did this happen? When you have these, the people like the Gosmar family with the this isn't Tampa, but they have Las Novedades and all these places. Well, when you're there, when Rutherford B. Hayes was president and you're running the show, and one day people are calling him and saying, Jill, what happened? What do you mean? What? How come they're talking about you? Who's talking about me? These witches on this show that will soon be shut down and a museum piece. It freaks you out. This woman may not be as hip as we are. She may not know anything about this. She's a mother and a worker and she's wondering, what is this? What do we do? Who didn't? Well, apparently you didn't sell to who? To whom? Well, they're saying you didn't sell these. What are you talking about? This witch from this show. I don't know what you're talking. And that's the way it starts off at first. What are you talking about? And then you call people, hello, you call the manager, Jerry. Yeah, did you know anything about this? Yeah. Come here, call my counter girls. Did any of you know who did this? No. Did any of you refuse this shrew business? Do we turn down business to cupcakes? Do we say, excuse me, yes, I'd like a dozen crullers. Yes. What is your political party, please? Ooh, I'm sorry about that. Did anybody know this? No. But they feel so omnipotent. You would think somebody would say, whoa, wait a minute. You think their legal department, and I hope, and I don't want to do any kind of solicitation or championing or maintenance or anything like that. I don't want to. But and many times people are suggesting that there are, how do I say this? That libel and slander and defamation, I think sometimes are too much. Like the cases against Rudy Giuliani. Are these women really able to say that their lives were ruined because of Rudy Giuliani? Okay, a jury or a court has said so. I have my doubts. So what is it? It is a statement of fact. Rule number 1, libel, defamation, slander. Slander is spoken words. Libel is recorded. Libel is a little worse because it's recorded. Slander is said once and it's fleeting, it's gone. But libel is recorded in a book, in a magazine, on TV, which is set to tape, and on the internet, everything is recorded. Evan says, one of my oldest best friends has been canceled from his AV camera work for pro-Trump posting. It's so wrong. Unbelievable. They do not give us any break. So I believe, let me go back to this, and thank you, Evan. A statement of fact that is made. What was the statement of fact? The statement of fact apparently seems to be that Halterman's refused to serve somebody. That there was no boiler problems. No one else suffered. No one else had their orders refused. None. No one else. None. Nobody else. Just them. Statement of fact. That's not true. And that's false. It's false. Remember, if it's a true fact, it's not libel. No matter how horrible it is. If I say you have a favorite hobby of squatting over a nude over a goldfish bowl, smearing with brine shrimp, and it's true, sometimes you have some states that have like invasion of privacy and false light, which I think pretty much have been, but truth is pretty much a defense. So statement of fact, that's false, and that causes damages. And the best is damages, reputation, business. And we'll leave it at that. It gets even a little complicated, but that doesn't really apply here. And it might be, believe it or not, libel per se, because it deals with damages that affect business. Again, not to complicate it. Now, when you want to, if you were to commence litigation against somebody, somebody who was a public figure, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. Against a public figure is one thing. If you are a public figure and you're the plaintiff, that's a different story. But in this story, this little Holterman's Bakery doing the best they can, all of a sudden, they get just even associated. And when these demented lefties, these lunatics who go under these pitchfork and torch sessions where they don't stop. The Karens who sit, Karens, interesting name, Karen Johnson, Caryn, her name is spelled, doesn't really matter. But when they go after people, they stop at nothing. They stop at nothing to hurt and to defame and to terrorize, whether it's BLM, whether it's Antifa, whether it's just somebody shaving their head just to make a point. So, do you know what happens if you tell all those? And by the way, a little word to the wise: if you are some roving band of hooligans and you want to exact revenge, I would suggest stay out of, and I mean this, stay out of Staten Island. Do not do this. Do not even think of this. You don't want to go there. That's all I'm saying. It's a wonderful place. It is like so how do I say this? So New York. It's God's country. Staten Island Ferry, Verrazano Narrows. You've got to. It's kind of hard to get there, but well worth it. But this goes to show you. But here's the best part. They went on cocksure thinking that they are right about something. They never checked anything out. I can't believe that somebody at ABC Legal would don't go with this. Yeah, no, let's just don't go with this. We don't need this right now. Don't go with it. But it's their hubris. It's their hubris. Because how do I say this? Ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking about a place that is merely just about politics per se. It's about something bigger than this. It's an attitude. It's superiority. And it's also a cluelessness, a detachment, the likes of which I've never seen it before. It's a detachment. They don't understand what's happening. They don't understand what we're about. They use racist. They use the fact of fascist, Nazi. We're called all of the. I mean, we have been through this and we're seeing it now. And this is why I tell you, we dodged a bullet. She could have won. Remember, it's not her. It's the people who are behind her. Now, my friends, let me remind you of something which is very, very important. Two things I want to tell you. Number one, I can spend hours, seemingly, almost, I did an hour one day, going through everything in the preparedwithlionel.com litany, what you can purchase. The emergency foods we have some of the stuff, believe me, when you get this food, all right, when you go to preparedwithlionel.com, you should have one that you just have that you're going to eat immediately. Because you're going to say, maple oatmeal. Okay. Can we have this, Mom? No, that's we gotta wait for the emergency for that. But God, it looks good. The names are so you're gonna have to buy a batch just for you to run through because they're great. You're gonna say this is because somehow when you think of emergency food, you think of like, I don't know, government issue, something like in a can with a box no, it's delicious. That notwithstanding, I was mesmerized at preparedwithlionel.com. 100-hour candles. Each one, 100 hours. a candle, indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter. They look like grenades, 100 hours. They have little, if depending upon you, if you want to have a little biomass oven, if you want to have a solar generator, a solar powered generator, preparedwithlionel.com. Everything you can think of, everything, and also sourcing. It's this one-stop shop. And I know they have places that have other things, which are great, but not like this. 25-year shelf life. You're going to have to start thinking, we're in a combat zone, my friend. Not to scare you, but we just have to be prepared. That's all. Preparedwithlionel.com. And one more thing. As I mentioned, companies like this that we've seen, Mike Lindell, they did what they did to Holterman's. They went after him. Mike Lindell. They wanted to ruin him. They wanted to destroy him. Bed Bath & Beyond. I'll never forget this. We used to go down this one aisle, and I like Bed Bath. I liked it. I liked the smell. And right around the coffee pots and the vacuum cleaners, there was this one big, like a bin where they had all the My Pillows. And one day, they're gone because he dared to show his affiliation and utter his affiliation and his support of President Trump, and they canceled him. Well, guess what? He's still in business. Bed Bath & Beyond are gone. So mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Christmas literally is a little over a month away. A month and 9 days. Okay? That's it. Thank you for that. There's something about these people that make me so angry. When little people are bullied, you have no idea how that destroys me. And let me also explain something. And by the way, I was going to mention something last night about the Tyson fight. I fell asleep and it was stupid. And this didn't help anybody. And I hope they enjoy their money, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. I want to go back to what I'm saying. That was my comment on the Tyson fight, by the way. That was it. I don't really care about it. There is a woman, you've seen her on YouTube. All she talks about is narcissism. You ever seen her? She's an Indian woman, very smart. Narcissism. How to spot a narcissist. What do narcissists look like? The difference between a narcissist and a psychopath. Narcissist, you got to be and she focused on, and it's very interesting. She's very successful, very, very popular. I'm sure you've seen her. But there is something called, they're not liberals. They're not progressives. They're not lefties. They're not woke. It's not it. During the height of the Hitlerian horrors, would you call Adolf's boys socialists? Would you call them? What would you call them? There's no name to describe it. National Socialists? Well, what does that mean? Were they lefties? People think of left. I don't know what they think of, but because they were right and totalitarian, the names don't mean anything. That's why I told you years ago, one of Lionel's rules: don't name things. Don't name things. Don't name them. The name means nothing. The name means nothing. The name. What do you call this? Is this jazz? Would you call this bossa nova? Or is this a samba? Would you call this more Joe Beam? Or would you stop with the names? I don't know what it is. But I understand something which is interesting. There is a drug. Let me give you an example. How many of you fine people have ever tried methamphetamine? I never have. Some of you might. Most of us have not. Not because you're a great person. I've never tried it because I just never did. Had I been younger, maybe in the wrong crowd. Okay. Methamphetamine. And I'm sure there are people who tried it and said, ooh, forget that. But methamphetamine, to some people, drives them crazy. and made them crazy. And I don't know why. I don't know what you call them, a meth head, a tweaker. I don't know what these people are. But they're out of their mind. There are people who've been into fentanyl. There are people who've been into trank and Xyloc. I don't know what you call these people. I do not know what you call these people. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the damage that they cause to themselves and others is irreplaceable. Okay. We have had something that we have never seen. My friends, ask yourself this question. For those in our generation, I notice my smooth rock, which is the most soothing thing when you're talking and you just rub it. There's not a jagged piece on here. It's very, very calming. Do you know of any time in your life when you've seen these many people go crazy over politics? I know there was during the time of Archie Bunker when Archie and Maude used to get into fights about, I don't know what it was, FDR or socialist, whatever it was. But I don't remember this. Do you remember ever there being a time? Do you remember ever there being a time when we had these many people who hated you, who said, you can't, Uncle Dave, yeah, we don't want you to come. You're disinvited to the birthday party because you voted for Nixon or you voted for Reagan. Do you remember this? I don't. Do you remember this? I don't. And do you remember there being meth heads? Well, there really weren't any meth heads then. I don't know what to tell you. There weren't any meth heads, but for reasons I don't understand, they're not here anymore now. But there is something in this country which is incredible, and it is a form of mental illness, the likes of which we have not seen. We have not seen this. It is beyond anything even imaginable. It is demented. It is bizarre. It doesn't know. There's nothing like this. And I find it interesting. And we have to make sure, my friends, that we never forget this and that we carry on. And this should be the motivator behind you. This should embolden you and make you crazy with anger. It does me, like you cannot believe. Let me explain something to you. These people get pushed and motivated. Let me explain. Let me see if I can explain this to you. Let's take this Karen Johnson. First, take somebody, and there are some people, let me ask you, there are some people on the right, and we'll use these directional labels just for shortcut purposes, but there are some people on the right who do this as well because they kind of like the way it feels. I had a friend of mine who said, I'm to the right of Attila the Hun. What does that mean? Well, what do you mean you're right? Well, we mean law and order. Well, what do you mean? Well, so we do it too. There are people who have flags and proud to be an American. They don't know anything. They don't know one thing. They know nothing about Trump. So we get that. But they're not violent. We don't go and break doors down, destroy businesses when there is a policeman that is killed by some escapee. Do you understand this? Do you understand? We don't do this. Lake and Riley, the name the people that we've known, that people who have been hurt and harmed. They went berserk over George Floyd, who was a thug, an absolute waste of flesh, a person that I guess we share DNA with, who was horrible, who died. I think, I'm not sure, and I'm no expert, but the story is that Derek Chauvin put his knee and caused the cessation or interruption of respiration, and he died. Okay, fine. I'm not buying that, but that's me. Okay. They rioted. They rioted. They rioted and they were arrested. And the woman, Kamala, who wanted to be the president, actually said, go and contribute to people. Listen to what I'm saying. Contribute to people who have been arrested, who are being held in custody, and help them because of what they've done. Can you believe this? This is where we live. This is where we live. Have we ever done this? When was the last time we ever robbed? Who? We had this thing called the January the 6th group, which was the biggest, which was they didn't get a parade permit. It was this form of trespass. It never threatened anybody. It was again this choreographed, orchestrated collective scrum where people claimed that this was the end or the ruination of civilization as we know it. And it was nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. Okay? Okay. We don't do this. We don't do this. The women, the young girl, people who have been killed by illegal aliens. Do we riot? No, we don't do this. Why don't we do this? Because we're sane. We're sane. And there are factions of people who are nuts. And the difference between this Karen Johnson that I speak of and somebody who is an Antifa, the only difference is that the Antifa person actually commits violence. This person doesn't do that. But the mentality is the same. The mentality is the same. You know, you could be a member of the Nazis, as we call them sometimes, the German National Socialists, and you can say, "But I'm not for the. I don't want to have mass extermination, but I'm with them 100%." So there are you can agree to a lot of things. Yesterday, Mrs. All and I were tooling about, and we happened to be in. We go to Jersey to shop and do our stuff. And as we're driving around, I see these Harris pictures, these signs. Jay Giza from the Pyramids of Giza says, "I'm still so happy and relieved that Trump won. It's as if the nation has been driven off a cliff and Trump came in and saved us mere yards away from destruction. Love you, Lionel. Could not have said it better myself. Absolutely." But you see, Giza, you have to understand something. We have to understand who the enemy is. There are people who actually put up signs. They want this woman. They wanted her. They want to stop us. And I'm going to tell you again, listen to me. We are going to ignore these people. We are going to ignore these people. I cannot say this enough. There is the moves. Caroline Levitt, 27 years old, is going to be press secretary. Thank God. As you know, there are people that I sit back and I'm saying, I do not want you to try to embolden your own particular image by virtue of this. Of your position, of everybody who is involved, going through the various names. This is the most important. I'm trying to look at whether it's Gates, whether it's let me see. Look at all these people. Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles. Let me ask you something. Of the people so far, Susie Wiles, Stephen Miller, Dan Scavino, by the way, one of the most loyal people. Kristi Noem, Bobby Kennedy, Pete Hegseth, Lee Zeldin, Matt Gaetz, Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, Tom Holman, Elise Stefanik, Elon Vivek, and Mike Huckabee, and others as well. And now Caroline Levitt. There is not anyone who ever in that group ever thought, or I got the impression, they were doing it for me. I do not believe that when I see, that's why I mentioned this Alina Habba. I'm not so sure about her legal skills. I don't know. But anybody who, when on the Trump team, has in their social media And by the way, that's social media. That's your calling card. That's as much you as anything else. Who has pictures? Here I am in my bikini. Here I am partying. Here I am at St. Bart's. Am I not sexy? Here I am wearing my. You have no idea. Get out. Get out. None of the aforementioned are there other than what they do. Say what you want about Christy Nome. I don't think she comes across like, am I hot? Am I hot? You have no idea how that, I hate this. Because narcissism, going back to that wonderful Indian woman I was talking about, narcissism, and it is something that we're seeing left and right. So consequently, we are committed by a philosophy. And the philosophy that I think all of us share is very simply this. Number one, excuse me. If you expect to be treated differently by virtue of your race, your gender, your sexual predilections, you're out of your mind. We do not have DEI. Now, I will say this. I would like for the president to have a more, not diverse, heterogeneous group. I want to see more Black women, Asian. Sorry, I do. And the reason why I say this is there are some equally talented. I'm going to give you an analogy, speaking of bakeries. When you go and do you ever have somebody say, go buy Holtman's. Pick up some pastries. Okay. What do? You want an assortment. They're all great. And if you say, no, you've got 4 cupcakes. Why are you loading up a cupcakes? Go for the cruller. Go for this. Go for this svoyadel. Go for all that stuff. Why are you, get a croissant, get a donut. Why are you loading up on one? They're all good, as opposed to go for the donuts because the rest is crap. If that were the case, then load up on white males, white women, Black men, Black, whatever it is, if that's true. But that's not the case. There are people of absolute 100% commitment. There was a woman, I forget her name. I don't know who these people are. So that's my only thing. My only so far. I think Ben Carson may come on board. I think there are many, many people out there. And I think it is wise politically. I think it is wise in terms of PR. And you have such an assortment of people. But again, it's a president. I don't think he cares one way or another. I really don't think there is anything in him that in any way, if you look at the people that he's supported, it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying. That's number one. Number two, you're going to meet people. Did I say number two? Number three, you keep track of this. You're going to meet people who, for some reason or another, hate Bobby Kennedy for no other reason than he was picked. And I want you to do something. I'm going to give you an exercise. I have a friend of mine who drives me crazy. We're driving and we get this beep. Mrs. L says, is that who? Yeah, I said this. Why does he bother? It doesn't bother. He will send me something about Trump. And I don't know if he thinks that maybe, I don't think he realizes that President Trump has won, and I'll send him something about Earl Anthony, the great bowler. I'll just send him something completely different. So the other day he said, Bobby Kennedy is a conspiracy theorist. I said, excuse me. Bobby Kennedy, number one, Bobby Kennedy did not in any way whatsoever. Bobby Kennedy did not say he was anti-vaccine. Now, why my friend all of a sudden cares about vaccines, I have no idea. Why my friend is so concerned about vaccines, I have no idea. He said, I never knew you cared. You never talked about vaccines one time. Not one single time. You never, ever. I've known you for years. And you never talked about vaccines, specifically vaccine testing. I never heard you say anything. Vaccine. But now, all of a sudden, for some particular reason, you're interested in vaccines. So what I do is simply this. Listen to me. I say, whenever he shows me something from the Washington Post, I say, well, that's not true. The reason why I bring this up is this. They are so focused not on the truth, but to them, and this is important to note, hating Trump is the meth addict who found meth, who never knew meth was even there until now. That make any sense to you? There are people who are like, I'm a meth addict. I didn't know I was a meth addict because I didn't know about meth, but I know now, and here I am, and that's who these people are. It's incredible. And I said, I never knew why you care about this. It doesn't, because they hate Trump. Trump is that meth, that trank, that thing that defines them like nothing else. I've never seen anything like this, my friends. But remember something. We are the same way. And that's why you're going to go and you're going to support, one more time, Holterman's Bakery. Holterman's Bakery, just the most important. Look at this. Pick up your Easter lamb today. Oh, this is from 2019. They need to kind of unpin this. I'm just saying. They could be doing. They're up. 2019 is the last time. I'm just saying. But it doesn't really matter. They're probably busy, and the last thing they're worrying about right now. But believe me, they're going to have let me see. Maybe they've got maybe Instagram. Do they have Instagram? Is that it? Maybe Instagram will do it. Maybe that's it. Because I want to support these people, and they have. Oh, here we go. Yep, their Instagram is a little bit more. Look at this. Look at this note they have. This is from an hour ago. Our phones are ringing off the hook as we work hard to fill in-store orders. The best way to connect with us right now is to stop by our historic building and experience the nostalgia and family history we're so proud of at 405 Arthur Kill Road on Staten Island. We are the definition of an old-fashioned mom and pop shop. And at this time, we do not have online ordering because one of the, I believe, either officials said, go online. Come visit us, soak in the charm of our community, and pick up a sweet treat made with love. Your support means everything to us, and we can't wait to see you in person. And that's it. I'm going to give you this little link right here. This is to their Instagram. And God bless these people. Because what happens is, and let me explain this to you. We hate bullies more than anything. We hate bullies. Hate them. These people did nothing wrong. They were one day just doing their thing, trying their best, doing their just doing their best, just trying to make a living. Do you know how hard these bakers work? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. It just annoys me. So there is this thing named Karen who sits there. They drape her. She looks like that Alvin, you know, the fellow, Tally or whatever his name is, who had a bedspread. She's turning into a couch. She's turning into, I don't know, like some type of a marine life or something. And she sits there at the end of the table making millions, apparently, for doing nothing. And one day somebody decided, I'm going to pick up, I'm going to just make these people the subject of my wrath. I'm not going to investigate it. I don't care about it. I'm going to make these people the subject of my wrath. Because that's who I am. And I despise that. You have no idea. There is something, they did that to Mike Lindell, and they did that to her, and they're not satisfied by merely believing something. Oh, no. They want to force bakers. Remember this? What if you're a Christian? You're saying, I don't believe in gay marriage. I don't want to make pornographic cakes. If a Jew would be forced to make a cake with a swastika on it? No. And if there was a gay bakery, maybe they're against conventional marriage. It's their opinion. There's plenty of places to go to. It's your right. This is what's wrong with us. This is what's wrong with us. We are absolutely losing it. And these people have to be crushed ideologically. Not violently ever. We're not violent, but we have to be able to tell people this is who we are. They're like a virus. They're like intellectual malware. And speaking of malware, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you checked your devices for malware? Malware attacks have increased 643% since 2020, with approximately 10 million personal and corporate devices compromised with data stealing malware in just the last year alone. Additionally, 19.8% of computers face at least one malware attack annually. This emphasizes the critical need for individual users to protect themselves, their devices, and their data. This is why I use today's sponsor, Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, and I love the peace of mind it gives me. Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro is an award-winning antivirus with real-time protection, malware removal, ad blocking, scheduled scans, multi-device protection, and more that stops malicious downloads in their tracks. Without Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, I would risk my finances, banking details, personal data, and more getting into the hands of cyber criminals. Thanks again to Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro for sponsoring today's extravaganza. And do yourself a favor and sign up for a free 7-day free trial, of Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro during their early Black Friday sale happening now, and get up to 75% off. Yes, you heard that. Up to 75% off. Only at virtualshield.com/Lionel. Once again, that's virtualshield.com/Lionel. Critical, my friends, to the way we believe is this kind of realization of certain things, certain tenets, certain absolutes that we believe in. And those absolutes are who we are. We're not here just for, this isn't just a fad for us. This is serious business. We mean what we're saying. And I got to tell you something. There are folks who don't understand. They've never understood what it is we believe in. And what we believe in is something very, very simple. We believe in the notion and the idea that there are aspects, there are very, very, there are just things that we believe in. Number one, we believe in our country. Number two, we believe in the notion that you should be able to succeed based upon your ability and not your skin color, not because of your alleged gender and the like. DEI is anathema to the American spirit. We want governments off our backs. We want people to be able to prosper. We want less regulation. We want to be left alone. We don't want stupid wars that have nothing to do with us. That's going to be a bit of a problem. That's really interesting. And President Trump came in and and I would hope somehow he would put this, I hope somebody Dan Scavino, get a hold of Trump, send them something, do something, let them know, especially now he's president-elect, he can do some things that he can't do when he's president. And if you can go online, just thank these people. This woman, I've seen it. This poor woman, she wakes up one morning and she's saying, what am I doing? Why are you doing this to me? What did I ever do? Jill Holterman. She's thinking to herself, this is my family's business. We didn't do anything. It's not fair. We didn't do anything. So one thing about Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell said, okay, well, I'm a Trump supporter. And okay, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. If somebody said, hey, take that Harris hat off. Hey, take the MAGA hat off, which will make no sense. It makes sense. That's the way it is. We've got to fight this. You're right. Kristen Tipp says, not only that, DEI is racist, but it's un-American. It's wrong. It's simply wrong. And here is the thing. There are people out there who are so devoid, so absent, so vacant of any kind of ideological foundation that they don't know what to say. So anyway, thank you. And also thank you so much for Mrs. L and I. We're going to be doing Ventilation Fridays until we get tired of it. And it was great last night. I'm so lucky. Luckiest man in the world. Because she's stunning, radiant in her cranberry couture. Her cranberry couture. And also a very special shout out, we want to send again to our friend Sherry. Sherry, we love you. We hope you get better, and feel the saturation, being imbued in the power of positive thinking and the like. And we also want to thank your daughter Elizabeth for letting us know. And we love you. And we love all of yous tremendously. All of yous, folks. That's a big deal here. All right, my friends. So Raul, by the way, Raul Rodriguez says, Karen looks like a sheet placed over a sofa. I think you're being kind. Jay Giza, thank you. Raul, thank you. Brad Rung, we thank you. Evan Webb, Raul, Ryan, so kind. Thank you, dear friend. Thank you so much for your support. And please make sure you subscribe here. And make sure you are subscribed and like this. It takes you a second. Subscriptions and likes put us into the fast lane, so to speak. So people will come and listen to us. Have a great day, my friends. Don't ever change me that sincerely. And until you and I see each other again, and also follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. You have got to see this interview she did. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to give it to you right now. It is, you have never met such courage and courageous people like this in your life. This is an interview that she did with a fellow named Seth. Is it Gale? Gale. I'm going to give you this link right now. Army vet. This is it right now. This is it. Go to Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. But this is watch this young man. Watch this young man. One more time. There's the link. Listen to his story and how the Army saved him and how he in turn is returning the favor. You won't believe his story. So my friends, thank you. Have a great and glorious day. And don't forget, support the Holtermans. They're in. I can't say enough. You know what I'll do? I'll put a little message, a little link here so that you can find their name and you can support them, because they have, put it this way, they have awakened the not so sleeping giant and given it an even more terrible resolve. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. Thank you so much. God bless America. God bless our friend, President Trump. Yay! Look at this one I've got. I've got all my, oh my God, look at this. I've got my Trump 2020, Keep America Great. I've got all my memorabilia. Got my 2020. Because 2020, that's the one that was really his reelection. But we'll talk about that later. Have a great and glorious day, my friends. And until then, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.